had a short lecture. The organizers informed us of what to expect during the trek, and we were told that we will stop in between to pick edible plants and identify trees and birds in the wilderness of Pardo all the way downhill to Haklupan, Talisay, which would take around 10 to 12 kilometers by foot. The organizer of this event is Cebu Outdoor Enthusiasts, a group of professional mountaineers known for outdoor education program. They lead trips for students and adults of all ages. They teach wilderness classes like native trees and birds identification and nature preservation. Then we were told to lay our backpacks in one line. This activity was to check randomly what essentials we brought for the trek. I was scared to death that my bag might be selected. Too scared to let them know what I brought, because the mother in me kicked in during the packing at home. I want us to have everything that we might need during the whole day trek. I carried liters of water, some first aid essentials, raincoat, extra clothing, a pair of slippers, lots of foods, and of course, chocolates, which made my bag extremely heavy. But I was spared from the embarrassment as my bag wasn't chosen at all. So the lecture continued as the organizers unpacked their own bags and showed us their wilderness essentials. As expected, they had everything a professional mountaineer must have in order to survive in the wilderness. Fire starting materials, cooking tools, hammock and tarp, rope, first aid supplies, illumination, and camp tools.
Kinyo, lantigan niya sumaybay. Ano siya ang kuha na niya ang yahang tubil ani niya kay gasolina. Pwede sad siya kuan, pwede sad siya kerosene, pwede sad siya kanang white gas. Kani siya mas kuan ni siya mas hasol siya gamiton. Ang ngayon siya nga stove o kanang may mga kuan gadget na biyahe expedition meron ang mga exploration guys sa semana. Kay kuan man ni siya kanang ato mo bukid kayo nga wala na baligya nga butane mas na may baligya nga gasolina dito. May abay na gasolina dito. Makapalit na tayo mo fuel. Oh, gani yan.
They demonstrated how to start a fire using the tools that they have brought, picking up materials from the wilderness as tinder.
Petroleum gel is made out of petrol. Yeah. Ano siya? Very good substance or kanang compound for creating fire. Anang niya made gikan sa petroleum. Kanang yung tent, inyong rain jacket, siga gyud na. Siga na kapit. So careful gid mo. Nagi practice of fire safety on mo. Yeah, once kana siya bukas na siya expire, ma-prolong siya compared ani nga walay petroleum jelly. Mas dugay ang burn time. Kaya nga naman siya chemical reaction. Kani kay pure tinder man gyud. So mas taas ang chance nga maka-create yung fire ni successfully without having nga nakay-cogon grass or shavings gikan sa kahoy. Okay?
The wilderness has plenty of flammable materials to use as kindling. This one here is cotton fiber from the Philippine native tree, locally known as duldul. Once its fruit matures and dries up, the pod opens up, exposing its white fibers that resembles cotton, which is easily scattered by the wind. This is a potential kindling material, perfect to start a fire.
Sabong sa siya kaugot. Balik! Overhand loop. Balik. Na. Tanawa ha. First person view ginihaan na para parehas ha. Overhand loop. Then after ang inyong working and tulod sa lisod. Tulod sa lisod. Okay. Na, mag-fit yun. Diba? So na itong window. Na itong first loop. Ano na? Kita na? Ano? Okay na? Pwede mo maglibo. Pag kami ang inyong nut, padagin inyong main loop. Okay? So, kung ato yung working end, tuyok sa standing end. Tuyok. Okay na, tuyok. Pwede ra pigkas pod. Pero nindot, kung gikan sa left, padung sa right, tuyok. Okay, mao na siya standard sa climbing. Yeah, example lang, nag-anchor ko dito niya. Injury akong bigas kamot. Pwede ko mag-create pag anong bulay. Hindi ko na sir, over, under, then up, then tuyok, then retreat, then on loop. Nagdira na ko na, bulay lang ito siya. So, pwede rin ko magkitay. Kasi such time, mabot ako ang rescue. Man ilang, man ano nyo, dapat na i-bite. Padung ito, bite may tawagan ni. Once mo ana ng rope.
I'll try a
Isa din niya lang yan. Lutan mo yan. Balik ka.
Jadi ikan juga ya.
Balik ka, awa, over. Then under. Anak. Tuyok sila. Awa, balik.
Ikan nih.
Yang umuo na kong low.
Balik sa tingkat. Ikut
Hindi mo bro na yan. Sa pagkakalat yan.
under.
Atas yung mga body. Mga bro baka.
Ano apa dia sawa?
Hindi ko lang.
Ikan nih.
Okay?
Ikan.
So proceed ka sa next knot. Okay na?
Sunod. Perfect.
After the series of lectures, where we are equipped with the necessary details that we might need, we went forward and started another endless hours of trekking under the intense heat of the summer sun, identifying native flora and fauna along the trail.
Sa mountainside, di ba the tree that has red berry? This is a shrub.
Makaon ba ng kanding-kanding?
Dili.
Adili sad.
Oh, kana siya, matas na hipo na siya.
Oh.
Kani among gitkon kanina ni sagol ba.
Oh,
Oh.
oh, there's a candy.
So, muna siya ka na mo-observe ang mga bigatas.
Kunggo?
That's one you used to know.
Kunggo is wart.
Oh, right.
Di ba?
Oh, pero
Asa na?
Mugat.
Tampal din ni sa wart. White?
Parts kaning lagnog ug sa ubo. Tago? Oh, mo siya lagnog. Ficus ni siya na species. Metag oh, ficus no. Hindi mo ficus sa farm.
That's one you used to know.
Naaman ba gid ani para rin sa kwan. Kaning napas mo.
Lagnog.
Ha.
Tibig-tibig na ni sa Tagalog, di ba?
Binisaya niya.
Ano?
Media po ito. Kung makaam gyapon ni fig gyapon ni siya so similar ato kato. Fig gyapon siya.
Oh, mo ba wild fig?
So, ano ba tawagan mo sa ban is bro. Hindi na siya kana kay
Then we finally reach a cliff, overlooking the mountain ranges on the other side of where we are. Everyone was ecstatic seeing the lush woodlands, a contrast to where we had passed in the mountains of Pardo where we begin. The forest was dense with thick growth of trees. The place is called Barangay Buhisan. It is where the Buhisan Dam is located, the main source of potable water supply in Cebu City. It is a part of the central Cebu protected landscape. Then all of a sudden, the images of the old woman making charcoal hit me. We listened intently to the discussion of our guide about the ecology in this area, and what we heard left us devastated. Exotic trees, lifeless undergrowth, threats to flora and fauna, environmental damage, green pollution, and the list goes on.
biodiversity also in biodiversity. So if walay kuan na kanang off balance ang kuan, pasabot na dili healthy ang yuta. Kay dili makasustain ang katong mga leaves bitaw nga ma-drop. So ang mga microorganisms na to di kaila. So di siya makakuan kanang yun na kanang dahon na dili siya maka sa mga bacteria microorganisms, so di siya ka-sustain sa invertebrate biodiversity o sa soil biodiversity. So muna siya, then these trees become a pollutants. So these are, what we see here is actually a pollution, green pollution.
These areas here in Buhisan has been reforested for the past years, but with the wrong species of trees. The introduction of exotic trees like teak and mahogany was detrimental to the wild biodiversity here, creating more damage to the already fragile environment. Some reasons were parasites of minor significance on the exotic trees in its native habitat was introduced. The native microorganisms, insects and birds wasn't able to adapt to the newly introduced species of trees and possibly caused them harm, one of the reasons of its extinctions. The introduction of these exotic trees is for the purpose of meeting the demands for lumber. Some exotics are fast-growing trees, thereby producing more lumber for construction and home building for the demands of the ever-growing population. Human activity has had an effect on the environment for thousands of years. Man had been modifying the environment where he lives in order to survive. We had altered our ecosystem for our own benefit. And sadly, most of these activities exert tremendous effects on our natural world, leading to environmental degradation. But we have the power to correct our mistakes, and we can change the environment for the better if only we will work hand in hand. If only.